Hey there, it's Kate. And yes, it's Tuesday afternoon, and where I am, it has been rather stormy all day, which is why my bangs have got a little curly today. I've been caught out there more than once. And yeah, when my hair gets wet, it tends to curl. So, if you don't know who I am, my name is Kate Penwan Thompson. I am a life coach, health coach, aroma freedom practitioner, money coach, and an essential oils coach. So, yes, you can tell I like coaching. I love helping people and I love being able to come on here and chat to you and talk to you about things. Do you know, I have a very large family. Very large family. I have 12 kids and they all have kids. I have grown up grandchildren. I've got new grandchildren just beginning to arrive. And I can tell you that sometimes, especially in families and with friends or husbands, we don't tend to have the healthiest relationships. And I want to come in here today. The oil I use when I'm in a situation like this is called Harmony. Yes, harmony is important. Now, why does this happen? I can tell you there are two things. One, in our marriage, my husband says he has the platinum rule, and I have the platinum rule. The platinum rule is not to treat somebody the same as yourself, but the person that you love, you actually treat them better than yourself. And that works very well because of the simple reason when you do that, you're attracting exactly the same thing back to you. Whether you're aware of that or not, our behavior, our responses, how we communicate is exactly what happens, well, what comes back to us. So if we are being critical all the time, we are yes, in that frame of mind all the time, then that is what we are going to attract back. Now, I can tell you it's taken me years to learn this, and there was a quote I saw the other day about, there are times in this life where you need to be silent. There are times where you need to speak. And in those instances, funny enough, I've got an oil on my desk that's called One Voice. And that always helps me when I'm feeling, because I can be a bit of an introvert sometimes. I'm a sort of a mix of both of them. But the truth is, we sometimes just need to be silent. Sometimes we need to listen to the other person's pain or try to work out what their pain is. Most of us, and I can tell you as a mother of 12 children, you can actually develop habits of you're expecting a certain response and therefore you give back a certain response. And when you've got an angry teenager walk into the room, you've got a choice here. You can actually join them, or you can make a stance to have a different attitude about it. The other thing as well that I want to say here is quite often in relationships, we don't maybe ask the simple question of, well, how are you feeling? I've noticed you've been a bit sad or a bit off. How are you feeling? What's bothering you? And then sit back and listen. Just sit back and listen. We so many times in our heads have a habit of what I call codependency. In other words, we are expecting somebody else to guess what's going on in our head. And what is going on in our head is how we would react to a certain situation. And yet that other person isn't going to react like that at all. Quite often when I am doing aroma freedom technique, or I'm coaching with essential oils, and those two things are two different things. One, I can set out to do an AFT and then I may end up coaching at the end of it, but sometimes it's just a coaching session, and I believe a certain oil might help my client get to a better place. Now, when I am doing this, I can tell you there are lots of floods and barriers broken down, especially in the area of forgiveness, in the area of communication, that maybe we can wake up and suddenly realize we have miscommunicated, or in our own pain or our own feelings of, what would you say, unworthiness, we tend to jump in and criticize somebody else, or we tend to think that we're being overlooked, or we tend to think that maybe somebody didn't react to you the way you wanted them to, and therefore now you've sunk down deeper. The truth is, we don't know what's in anybody's mind. When somebody even says a remark, we have no idea of what's behind that. I found this particularly sometimes when you're texting, sometimes when you're emailing, it can come across, it can be read by that other person in an entirely different way if you're not careful about exactly what you're saying and what you mean. We can mix those things up. It is so important to communicate properly with each other. Sometimes it's really, really hard to let things go and to just say, okay, I know that somebody is not in a good place right now, so let's just let this go. Let this slide. I found that there's a couple of reasons for this. One, you can't argue with somebody who is ignorant or uninformed of things that you are informed of. So arguing with them is not going to solve anything. You're way better to just settle it down and come in with a different attitude. One thing I really do want to express to you here at this time is that, angry and happy can't stay in the same room together. One of them has to leave. So if you're in a really happy mood and somebody bursts in, and in my family, that's more likely to be a teenager who's being a little short and agitated and worried or something, and you join them, then it's going to escalate and the relationship is not going to actually benefit from that. And how do I know that? Oh gosh, I've done that. And I know you've done that too. And I try to work on getting better at doing those things, and trying to come at it from somebody else's point of view instead of what I think is going on in my head. So, how to have happy relationships? Just stop. What does stop mean? That's an acronym actually. For S means stop. T means just take a moment to have a look at the situation. O means observe what's going on. And then when you do, proceed. But don't have the knee-jerk reaction. Don't immediately think that, oh, he's doing me wrong or she's doing me wrong. We have to let people go and be who they are, and let them have the freedom to be who they are, so that we can have healthy relationships. Now, this is there's much more to this, because a lot of times there are people in your life that you do have to have boundaries in the sound with, and I'm familiar with that too. You can still have a healthy relationship on your side of that boundary. Maybe that's something we'll talk about later this week. Anyway, today, my oil for today is harmony. I love harmony. Harmony is something that I use every day to start my day in what's called Gary's protocol. And you can find about that if you want to Google that. So I will be in here tomorrow and have an awesome rest of the day. And I'm hoping the sunshine is going to stay with us instead of the storms that are predicted in about 2 minutes. So that's it for me today. I will see you later on in the week. Bye for now.